Welcome to In Tune, Quick Fire Edition, where the tempo is fast, the questions hit harder than our frontline run, and pan people keep it real. I'm your host, Vanessa. Today's guest, a name already etched in the future of Steelpan, Andre White. Performer, educator, arranger, composer, innovator. From the panyard to the world stage, Andre has been redefining what it means to live through Pan. Not just Panorama, but beyond it. He's toured internationally, worked with various groups, and most recently released his genre-blurring album, For the Culture, available now on all major platforms. And with more exciting projects on the way, trust me, he is not slowing down anytime soon. Let's tap into the mindset of one of the most intentional musical voices of the generation. Andre, you ready?
I am.
Okay, cool. First tune you ever learned on Pan, do you still remember it?
Of course, it was Jahaji Bai.
All right, I'm not gonna ask you how that happened. Yeah, it was Jahaji Bai. Okay.
Yeah, it was Jahaji Bai.
What does it feel like walking on stage with your music being played by an orchestra?
It's still a great feeling. I don't take it for granted. I still enjoy it. It's still exciting. Sometimes.
Sometimes, okay.
Sometimes.
Okay. All right. Being all honest here, I love that. Panorama or concert stage? Which one keeps you up at night?
Concert stage.
Tell me why.
I'm more into being a performer these days and an artist. So Panorama has had its place in my life for a long time, and I see more of the challenges in just presenting my own self versus Panorama. Not to say I don't see the challenges in Panorama, but it's just more of a personal thing for me.
Developmental thing.
Yeah, and it's a personal thing that I've been working hard at
Alright,
for a long
okay.
time. So
What's one non-pan musical genre that deeply influences your style?
actually, I could be two genres really. Jazz would be the first one, and then it would be gospel, and more so because the two worlds are very similar. And I like the approaches that the gospel world takes with their arrangements. It's a fresh approach with colorful harmonies and stuff like that, and it lends well to how I kind of hear the orchestra.
Okay. So you've played all over the world.
Mhm.
What country has surprised you the most with their love of pan?
Canada. Canada.
I didn't expect that. What?
I mean, I'm talking about places I've been. I mean, I've been to all the Caribbean. I've been certain places in Europe. And when I mean Canada, like I mean like Alberta, Canada. Like that's not like Toronto, right? So
Yeah.
pan is very niche there,
Right.
But Alberta, Canada is like the Texas of Canada. And it's out in the land of nowhere.
Nowhere. I was just about to say that.
The land of nowhere, and to see their reaction at the pan and they've been so enthused, that was interesting. So
What okay. How do you define success in this art form outside of Panorama?
I define success as being able to truly express your artistry without any kind of stipulations, without any kind of things holding it back, to doing it in a way that's not natural to how you want to do it, and being able to be successful at it as well, like being able to compose your own music and have a reaction the same way you might want a reaction from Panorama. I think that to me is success. And then, yeah, being able to provide us a solid career from it, being able to meet artists of different genres and instruments and be recognized for your work as well. That to me is success.
Yeah. And making those albums, those fantastic albums that you made, is part of the sustainability of being a pan musician, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I have a next one loading. So that one has me up at night at the moment.
All right, well, we will talk about a little bit about that just now. Tell me, what's your favorite moment from making for the culture?
Oh, favorite moment of making for the culture. I think would have been when I heard the final masters and I actually listened in my vehicle, like driving the car, and being able to compare to like other albums that I consider to be like great albums, like non-pan, not really of the culture, and feeling like, yeah, this stands up well to global music on that level. I mean, to me, my personal, opinion. But yeah, being able to complete it and have that experience, I think that was that was my favorite moment.
And what inspired the name of the album?
Well, the name of the group is called the Culture Effects, and when we were doing the album, we wanted to fuse the different cultural backgrounds of a lot of the members within the group. And I remember one time I was talking to Sheldon as we were writing some of the music and demoing them out. Something was going on nice. I said, "Yeah, boy, this is gonna be nice for the culture." You know what I mean? When this go down nice. He said, "Yeah, that goes." I said, "Yeah, I think that's the name of the album." And I said, "Yeah, for the culture."
All right, so talking about going down nice, if for the culture were a dish, what would it taste like?
The greatest pilau you ever had in your life.
With coleslaw
With
or
the coleslaw and everything.
without
Yeah,
that?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Correct, correct.
you hit home there. Okay. All right. What's the one track from that album that's the most personal to you and why?
The Journey. I think that's my favorite song on the album, and the lyrics of the album it kind of it hits home, you know what I mean? He has a certain line in the song that goes the journey is the only thing on my mind. You could get lost in it sometimes. You could get lost in it sometimes. Sometimes feel like. I have a next line that goes, take it to the max, take it to the max. That's the only thing in my path. And I'm like, I remember the first time I heard that line, I said, yo, it's like the man is speaking about my own personal affirmations that I tell myself every day.
Right.
It's like how I view being a musician every day. You know what I mean? And just my personal journeys.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that one hits
I
home
feel it.
the most.
I feel it. I feel it. All right. What's the difference between arranging for a band and probably like composing for yourself, for you?
I mean, I think, there's certain when you mean arranging for a band, do you mean arranging for a band for Panorama or just in general?
Just in general, yeah.
There's certain things that work within a steel orchestra in terms of timbre and sonically that may not translate as well in a conventional setting. With my experiences and my trials and errors throughout the years, I have a certain way and a certain sonic image that I kind of have in my brain, like embedded. So anytime I hear music, it kind of has to sound a certain kind of way for me to actually say, well, yeah, it's right. You know what I
Okay.
mean? It's almost like a DNA, like my own
Mm,
personal DNA. And then conventional writing, I mean, that's a lot more freer for me. I don't put any kind of, for lack of better words, anything goes. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Once it grooving, once it hitting, I go to that.
All right. So what do you want people to feel? If you could put it into a word, what do you want your listeners to feel when they hear your work, whether it's an arrangement or original work?
But I think that's it. I think I just want people to feel something.
Something.
Yeah, feel something.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be something where it just passes you by.
Yeah.
I always intend to do music that touches somebody in some type of way that's going to be able to captivate them and hold them, even if it's for a little short moment. And it should be clear and should be able to be felt and understandable and comprehensive, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And relatable, right?
And relatable,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you know when one of your works is finished? Like,
I mean, really, it's just a feeling. I mean, I think most of my original compositions have been things that kind of just happen. And then ironically enough, like I was just explaining, I have an album I'm getting ready to record actually. All the music is done. And I wrote a song called Tender Moments. And I literally wrote the whole song in one go.
Mm.
Like no thinking, no second thoughts. Like I just sat behind the piano, played the
And it
melody
just
and
flowed.
everything, and it just flowed. Like almost as if it was like a message from God or something like that. You know what I mean? Something just kind of just happens that way. And I say that to say like most of the time that I do music, even when I'm second guessing myself, there's always something in the back of my mind that say, well, I don't know if this ever happened to you. Maybe I'll ask you the question. Ever done a piece of music where you're arranging something and then you have this thing on your mind and it's just sticking there. You don't want to put it down, but it's not leaving your brain. Like you're not sure about it, but it's almost like haunting you. You know what I was saying?
Yeah,
So it's like you had to get it out, like you had to put it out.
I could totally relate to that.
And then when you put it out, you know what I mean? People may be second guessing it, and then your mind is saying something higher than me told me to put that down.
Yeah,
And so that has to stay.
yeah. I think sometimes, when we do stuff like that and people don't respond the way you would like, but you're so sure about it, it's because maybe it was meant for just one person.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
not about the masses. It's like maybe
Exactly.
that was just for that one person. Yeah.
Exactly. Every time I've had that experience, by the end of it all, people come around and they're praising it in some kind of way. Or they're telling me how much they enjoyed it and they appreciated the work. So
Yeah. It's always worth it in the end.
always worth it.
Oh
Always.
yeah. Yeah. All right. Tell me this. What was the most extra thing you've ever done before or during a performance?
The most extra the most extra thing I've ever done during a performance. Well, that's a good question, boy. They catch me with that one. And you said that you really say I want to say that or no?
I
Um
told you.
the most extra thing I've ever done. I like to try little tricks here and there, play with one hand behind my back and touching the next side of the piano, and all kind of stuff, Do things like that. Or sometimes, I mean, sometimes I just host a jam session in New York called Island Interlude. It's a Caribbean-based jam session. We kind of take like soca's and popular Caribbean music and, play them as our standards. And we were playing, and I remember the energy caught me. I ended up going around on the next side of the piano. But I play seconds for those who don't understand, who don't know, sorry. So I ended up going up on the next side of the piano and playing upside down and just in our vibes, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, yeah.
I guess that would be probably the
That's pretty
expected.
extra. I
Yeah,
mean, by some people's
especially for me.
standards.
Well, my standards. If you
Exactly.
know me, I'm not that kind of guy all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I get you. All right. So tell me a little secret now, I guess. Maybe an open secret. What's your most used musical phrase or motif? One lick or riff or line that.
I don't know. I don't think I have one. I mean, somebody else would have to tell me that
Oh,
for
I,
me
I
to
get
know that.
that.
I really can't tell you like, yo, yeah, I do that all the time because I'm not doing it. I'm
Maybe
kind
you
of
need to
doing
do
it
some
subconsciously.
introspection then.
Maybe because I mean, how I view music, I don't intentionally go to repeat myself, but sometimes if something so happens to fit, and I've maybe would have done something similar before. If it fits and it works, you gotta go with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All
Uh,
right. Well, maybe I will tell you. I don't know. I'll
There you go.
listen.
There you go.
Listen and tell you. I don't know. All right. Who's one non-pan artist that you would love to collaborate with?
Probably Christian Scott. Probably Christian
That's a
Scott.
nice
Most
answer.
likely.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Christians that will see this podcast.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
That's that. That's the hope. That's the hope
Yeah.
I need.
Yeah. What do you like? What do you like about
I
him?
like his modern perspective on instrumental music. Like he fuses production with the conventional acoustic settings of maybe like a quartet or you know what I mean? And so it doesn't sound dated. Like his music doesn't, and it's very cultural based. It's very rooted and
Yeah.
what's his culture. And I like that
Right.
about him. And also like the way how he presents himself, he doesn't dress, you know, of an era that he's not from. You know what I mean? He kind of he stays relevant in a way that's also unique to himself. You know what I mean?
Which makes
I like
them
that.
timeless.
Which makes them timeless, exactly. Just like Miles Davis was, just like so many of the greats. When you really check them, they don't ever really like, they kind of
Yeah,
stay with what's happening in the moment. I like to live in the moment as well.
I could tell. That's good. That's good. So, what do you wish more young pianists understood about the music business?
Hmm. It's ironic that you're asking me this because I actually was making a post. Well, I made a post last week on
You
Instagram.
just post? I
That
didn't know you
how
was
coming out
posting.
coming I come into this part here. So I made the post and I posted and then I deleted it like less than 5 minutes after. And
That's
the reason why I deleted it, I said to myself, I said, well, Andrew, maybe you should just I'm not that kind of person anyway. I'm not the preacher. I'm not that kind of guy. You know what I mean? And I said, everyone has their own journey that they have to go through. You know what I mean? If someone who wants my advice, they'll come to me directly and they will ask me. But one thing I want partners or the partner community to know is that we can't call ourselves musicians when we're only being creative for one event or one time of the year. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're really a musician, you had to be, I mean, to me, you should be creating for creative sake. You know what I mean? And if your only reason for doing music is to compete, then are you really a musician?
a good question.
Food for thought.
Yeah, I could totally relate to that. What role does faith, vibe, or intuition, or combination of those three play in your creative process?
Man, it's the most crucial and integral part of what I do. I mean, that's how I know for me if I'm doing something right or not. It
Yeah,
has to feel right, and my faith in the Lord, um, and the gift that He's given me, I feel like that's what always helps me through even my most difficult arrangements or compositions where I may feel like I'm stuck or I just take a moment and I said, as I said before, lean into the intuition and I have the little voices in my head that I know is not from me. It had to be from somebody else, and I think is is God and the Almighty. So
yeah, I love that.
it's the biggest part for me. I mean, if we don't have control over this gift, it was given to us. Yes, we can manifest what we're doing physically, but the ideas, the thoughts, the feelings that comes from my higher being. I don't care what anybody else tell me. That's how I feel.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because sometimes you sit back and you're like, wait, where did that come from?
Exactly. We would do things and it's like I
You're
don't know
just a
how,
vessel. Yeah,
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 how or when that came about or how I thought of that idea.
yeah, absolutely. All right. What's one thing that you learned the hard way in your career so far?
Hmm. A few things. One, not allowing Panorama to be my only vessel. I was fortunate enough to start very young within the business of steel band arranging and just being around the community in that perspective. I started off on I would say I started off on a kind of high foot. And I had a certain point, where I would have went by bands like Desperados and things kind of started to go downhill for me, And I remember having a conversation with one of my best friends, and he's actually the godfather of my son, Sheldon Twits. Um, that I felt like I didn't know what else to do, and he said, "Bro, at the time I was in school too. I was at Berkeley. He said, "Man, you spend all this money to go to school and learn music, bro. You're a musician, bro. Like Panorama is not the end all be all." And from that day, I've made it my mission to secure myself outside of the Panorama arena just as much as I am inside. You know what I mean? And don't put so much emphasis on what happens within a competition exactly. Like I don't allow that anymore to affect what I do musically.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't make
yeah,
me or break me.
yeah. It doesn't define
Not at all. Not
things.
at all. So that was a hard lesson. At that time where everything was kind of going downhill, and also, not all family is family. Sometimes the ones that you expect to be on your corner because they're blood or very close relatives would be the ones to look to drag you down the quickest.
Yeah, I think that's a life lesson a lot of people learn the
Uh,
hard way.
Absolutely. So
Yeah. Well, we keep our eyes open for
yeah.
the wolves in sheep's clothing.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. All right. Let's lighten it up a little bit. You record a lot here in studio for
Um,
hours at a time, I'm guessing, or maybe not. But studio snacks, essential or distracting?
Most of the sessions I've been in, we don't really eat often. Like we would probably have like one meal maybe after or in between. Like, but I would say like when you go in a studio, you're paying for that time. So you
Mm-hmm.
don't have that time to really waste to eat and munch and no. So it's maybe when you finish, yeah, but not when you're recording. You're spending your money, so you want to get as much done as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it was a setting where, let's say, you didn't have the constraints of, well,
Maybe fruits, some like
yeah,
grapes or something like that, or
yeah,
oranges or pineapple, mango, stuff like that. Something like nothing too crazy. Coffee though. Coffee is a must for me.
okay,
It's
there
that
we
that's
go.
a little
There we go.
a need to know about me. I cannot
You
function
can't
without it.
function. Really?
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
When that start?
When I was teaching at a high school in Brooklyn and getting up early in the morning every day to deal with, the children. These lovely children that we love so much.
Yep.
Um, you need that extra bit of boost
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
wake
Something
up a
to
little
get you
bit.
through.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
yeah,
So
definitely.
speaking of these lovely children, what makes you hopeful about the next generation of pan musicians?
Oh man, what makes me hopeful is that there's so many great pianists that are seeking the information and that are really trying to not just rely on the Panorama arena to develop. Yeah, I mean they're really trying to develop their own artistry, trying to become better soloists, performers, composers. And I love that. That means that the future of the instrument, besides the cultural aspect of it, is in a great hand. Is in
Yeah,
great hands, sorry. Um, because let's be real. Panorama will always be there. It will come and go. But to really sustain this thing and take it international, we had to have people that take it serious as an instrument and that want to present it as artistically as possible.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we are they have all this passion and potential, because I still young too,
Absolutely.
inside. And it's
Absolutely.
like I fear that at least at home here, we're just training them to play for Panorama.
And you have a good point. I mean, maybe you should lead the charge.
Yeah.
Change the rhetoric. I mean,
I'm trying not go, and as I can
but
handle that little group for now.
but there's a few. I mean, I know a few people. Shout out to Denzel Headley and the whole typical crew. Avios
Absolutely.
Canterbury. There's a lot of
Yeah,
guys that I know personally that really put the time to work on their craft. To
absolutely.
work
Yeah.
on their artistry. They writing music, they composing, they arranging, they playing multiple instruments, and they're not just waiting for Panama to be lucrative
Validate
or,
them.
or to
Yeah.
validate them exactly.
Mhm.
Um, there's a lot of guys. And sorry if I'm missing anybody right now, but
Don't do it then. Just even because
you
you
know.
know. Yeah.
And then I also like to make mention of the ones that understand their role as well in terms of I don't want to say understand the role, but that know that this thing it could go multiple ways. There's entertainers that do certain things one way,
Yeah.
there's composers, there's soloists or performers, you know what I mean? And shout out to Flogo and Joshua and all those guys that do their thing and their way
Yeah.
and Kishon, you know what I mean? So we don't want to diminish that as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. They've carved out their own niche,
That's
and
it.
it's
That's it.
fantastic.
And maybe
It's
that
tough.
should be the message that everybody has their lane. So don't
There's
feel
room for
because
everybody.
exactly, don't feel because somebody getting through one way that you cannot get through in your own way. And that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you always had to copy what next man doing to get through. If you understand
Mhm.
what I'm saying, you know what I mean? Everybody had their own road to cross and path to walk down in this life.
Yes, Father Andre.
I'm not preaching, John. I'm telling
I
you, I'm
know.
not preaching.
And that's
Lord.
why I said it. That's why I said it. Because you don't preach on social media, we're preaching on this podcast. All
You have me in the
right.
element. You have me in the zone. You have me.
Yeah, yeah, I know how to squeeze it out.
I
Okay.
realize that.
Most slept on arranger or composer in Pan today.
Composer, I would like to say, definitely a guy and a gentleman and a brethren of mine that I have the pleasure of being able to call a brethren because I've known him for a few years now. His name is Kyle Noel. He's a tenor man from I don't want to say tenor man. That makes it sound so trivial. A
Yes.
great musician from Point. You know, his instrument of choice is I believe it's a low G or a low B flat tenor. But sick musician,
I thought it
and
was
if
a low
you're
A. Okay.
maybe it might be. I can't remember. But anyway, incredible musician, artist, composer. And if you all haven't checked out his work, he's amazing. As a composer, he's probably one of the best up and coming or of our generation that's out there to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has such a fresh perspective on what's taking place and I really enjoy it.
Endorsed.
Yeah, Jason Baptiste is the next one. I mean, I think a lot of people, even though he's from maybe the generation right before us, but he's still, to me, he's one of the greatest
Yeah.
ever. Like, and another guy who I've had who I've been blessed to have had opportunities to call a friend as well and lime and reason and talk music and just play, musically with on multiple occasions, and he's a great one. Who else again, man? Vanessa Hetty.
Mm. Mm.
You got
I
finger
don't
snaps, girl.
that don't count.
um, Although you're not underrated, I think people know your value for sure.
Good.
Know your value.
That's
But there's a lot of talented guys coming up
yeah.
from underneath. That whole crew again. Denzel and those guys. I believe they're underrated and they have a lot of offer as well,
Yeah.
musically. He
I
gets
think
a
so
lot
too.
of he gets kind of unlooked or overlooked, sorry, because he's a amazing drummer as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
as a pianist and a musician, the guy is very talented. Avias Canterbury as well. Um, a lot of guys, a lot of
Yeah. But if you had to choose someone then from the eras past, music that you would have probably listened to, grew up on, and you're like, how come this person wasn't as popular? Is there anyone like that? An arranger, maybe.
going to the catalog in my brain right now.
Yeah, don't
Um,
worry. I'll say one for me. Maybe that might help you out.
sure.
So Eddie Qualis,
Definitely. On another
always
personal
going.
friend of mine, God rest
Really?
his soul,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, come on, Godwin. I sour, come on, Mr. Sour himself. That the shoes are trying to fill right now.
You're feeling. Oh gosh,
That the shoes are
yeah.
trying to fill right now. Yeah. Um,
Yeah. Well, I
Definitely.
was
Those guys are, their work speaks for itself, and even though they didn't get the right recognition that they deserved,
yeah.
people noticed it, and I noticed it. People like myself and you who really study this instrument and the history of it and the art form of Panorama. Those guys definitely contributed. Halfers is the next one, man. I think Halfers is definitely underrated. And
I
he's
think
Halfers that did. Um, I think there's a lot of guys that didn't get there just to
Well, we give them their flowers now.
definitely, definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. What do you want to see more of in media coverage when it comes to pan?
Maybe a little more of the behind the scenes in terms of like the work it takes to that's put in to present a full steel band for the season, not just obviously the physical manual labor, but even just the thought process of how these things come about. I mean, the organizational standpoint, that'd be kind of cool to do a whole like series, like a whole, you know, what is the season like for Golden Hands, from management, from planning to prepping to the
Yeah.
ups, the highs, the lows, the little bacchanal, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All
Yeah.
right.
The moment Vanessa put in that winning parts.
We'll see. All right. I got about three more for you. So you play double seconds.
Mhm.
You love your pan.
Mhm.
What note um matches your personality and why?
What notes? I don't
Yeah.
know.
He wanna say Gil get his question.
That's a very interesting question. I don't know. Girl. I don't know. Well, I've been playing in the key of E a lot lately. So maybe the
Okay.
note E for now.
Is it a
For
low
now.
E?
My pan is a low E, but yeah, any E. The note
Okay.
E.
Yeah. Every time I see I like see that big E on your forehead. I have a
It should be
love
an A.
hate. A, yeah.
A for
Yeah.
Andre.
A for Andre. I have a love hate relationship with the G sharp on my pan.
Yeah, I love hate. Where's the hate?
Sometimes the hate it has this wangy tone
Yeah,
sometimes.
depending
Like,
on the pan. Yeah, yeah, I get it.
yeah. No,
I
like
get
my pan
it.
that Butch made with
Yeah,
love. That particular note, I don't
yeah.
know. But then other times it's so perfect because it's so
Hmm.
all I can't explain it.
No, I
All
get it.
right.
I understand.
Okay. Okay,
Second
okay.
pan players get it. We get each other,
Yeah,
girl.
yeah,
We
yeah,
get each
yeah,
other.
yeah.
We're
I don't think I
here.
could call myself a second one player these
Why
days,
not?
though.
A musician, second pan. That's your principal instrument, not so?
It is.
All
It
right.
is, but we'll talk about that another day. All right. Okay. You have upcoming albums, projects, whatever. Tell us what you're working on without giving away too much and why we should be excited.
Well, without giving too much, it is a project that I am recording, so we know it's gonna be my music, original music. And a big hint, it will be my first solo album. So I think that should be exciting. Before I've done a lot of work with like, even though it was my original music, I've done stuff like steel bands or more combo size. But even though I'll have a band backing me, but it will be more featuring myself in
Okay.
this project. But yeah.
When can we expect that? Is there like a timeline?
I'm not trying to put too much on a timeline because I want it to sound a certain way.
It's ready when it's
And
ready.
it will be ready when it's ready. Yeah.
Okay.
Big hint, it is influenced by the same gentleman I spoke about who I would love to collaborate with.
Oh,
Yeah.
look
So
at
it will
that.
have that influence behind it.
So maybe by the time that is released, he would be
Yeah.
on the album.
There you go.
I
That's the
have
plan.
connections, Andre.
Put
Come
it in
on.
the air. Put it in the air. Let's speak it into
Yeah,
existence.
yeah, yeah.
Manifestation.
Mark my words. Yeah.
Let's go.
All right.
Marked. Written down.
What do you want your legacy in Pan to sound like? Because earlier on you mentioned, it has to sound a certain way, it has to feel a certain way, it has to reach people a certain way. Could
Mhm.
you describe that sound?
I, as flattering as it could be to be compared to the greats before, I've always just wanted to be known for myself. Like I want people to hear the music and say, yeah, that's Andre music. Not like that's something like so and so. Even though people will naturally do that, but I want to be able to know that when I'm done, I've contributed to this art form in a kind of way where I would have inspired the ones after me the same way that the greats before me have done for me, And I think that would be the legacy. I want to be known for, pushing the envelope, harmonically or rhythmically or, even structurally or in some type of way.
I sincerely hope that you live long enough to see this come to fruition. Because most times these things happen after everybody has done all the great
Yeah,
stuff before.
yeah. I was
But you put in the work. So
Yeah, that's it. You just gotta keep grinding and everything will happen when it's supposed to happen.
yeah,
All the flowers will be given when they're supposed to come.
that's right. All right. Last one. It's
Let's
not a
go.
question, but you're gonna finish this sentence for me.
Okay.
So Andre, finish this
Hmm.
sentence for me.
Hmm.
Pan belongs in.
Everything.
You know, it's true. It's not true.
Yeah, it
I
is
mean,
true.
it's not true.
It belongs in everything.
It
It belongs
does.
in everything.
I get what you're saying, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah, but Pam belongs in everything. Pam
Yeah.
belongs in every space possible. It deserves it at this point, you know?
There we go. That was golden, and it was heartfelt. I felt that.
Yeah.
This is weird, and I'm very curious. Are you into Marvel or?
I am actually. I am. And
Yeah,
my
you look.
favorite Marvel character is Doctor Strange. Why?
I could, because the question is going to be, what would your harness superhero name be, and what would be your super power?
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Tell me. Somebody already answered that, so it's possible to answer.
Answer it for me or answer for them?
Well, they answered for them, but
Okay. Um, hmm. Let me see. My superpower behind the pan would be Dr. Emo. I don't know.
tell us what
Because I
tell
can
us what that
manipulate your emotions.
Dr. Emo wants to manipulate the emotions.
Mhm.
I get you.
There you
That's
go.
a strong superpower.
Come on.
Use it wisely.
I can make you fall in love with me. I can make you fall out of love with whoever it is.
With one note.
One note.
Dangerous stuff. That is
Dangerous.
nuclear.
Dangerous. Come on.
All right, Andre. Well, thank you for your time. That
Thank you,
brings
my
us to
love.
the end.
This was fun. This was fun.
Yeah,
We could do this without the interview.
I I know that's the whole point. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. What's your signature dish? What could you do the best? And it better
I
be something Trini.
Well, I was gonna tell you, I've been told, can we talk about pilau? I make a very mean shrimp pilau because I don't eat meat.
God, I don't eat shrimp.
Okay, well, I didn't know how to help you. I don't know how to help you. I can make a nice fish broth too. Very good.
Okay. I guess I'll never taste your hand. That's okay.
One day,
Oh
one day.
gosh. All right, all right, all right.
All right,
All
man.
right. Yeah. So we'll
We'll
talk.
talk.
That was Andre White, and if you weren't paying attention, you missed the blueprint. Pan deserves to live outside the box, outside competition, outside limitation. Andre's work is a clear call for us to listen differently, play intentionally, and expand our expectations of this instrument. So be sure to stream his album For the Culture and stay locked in for his next project. It isn't just music, it's a movement. Until next time, keep writing new charts, taking new chances, and staying in tune.